One, Sakia Jackson Sellers, Module 5. The first question is, what is our best teacher memory? And for me, I have a lot of memories, considering I've been teaching now for 15 years. But my most memorable teacher memory is last year I had a little boy who was able to read before he left going to kindergarten. And I felt very accomplished. He had mastered phonics, he knew all his letters, he recognized them all, and was putting words together. So he left last year going to kindergarten being able to read. And that's just something I'll never forget. I've never had a child who was able to read before going to kindergarten. So that is one of my most memorable moments. The second question is what was my initial reaction of the thing of this particular module, work-life balance and other myths. And my initial reaction was um, I was just really interested in getting into the podcast and the articles that were uploaded and listen to the various ways that can help us as teachers maintain our work and balance. Life is very important. So, to help with stress elimination and just helping us with time management. So, I was very interested in learning more about work life balance. And the next question is tell us about a time you felt defeated. And sometimes I feel defeated when I make suggestions and recommendations to parents regarding various subjects such as behavior, um, literacy, and sometimes the parents will are open and receptive to what you have to say, and sometimes they're not. And what I've had to learn at the end of the day is that, I am the teacher. These are not my children as much as I do love them and want them all to be successful when they leave here. The parents are uh, parents are children's first teachers. So that helps me with uh, not being uptight about it and just sharing with them information regarding their child. And if they are open to receive it, that's fine. And if they're not, I'm okay with it now. Um, I've learned how to just accept that, again, these are not my children as much as I love them. And a lot of times I do have the kids for 2, 3, even 4 years. And me and my staff become very attached. So it feels like, an extended family, so to speak, but just not getting frustrated with that and realizing that my job is just to provide care for them, teach them, and love them while they're here. But at the end of the day, they go home with their parents and they have to do what they feel like is the best interest of their child. And the next question is how I move forward, which I explained that, how I move forward with accepting that these are my preschoolers and they're here for a long time. But again, parents are children's first teacher. So that helps me to move forward with respecting their position and, and learning to stay in my lane and what I do every day. And what do you see as your biggest mistake in teaching? I think my biggest mistake sometimes is getting too attached and too involved because I do, like I said before, have some of the kids for more than one school year. So having a child from an infant all the way up to 4 years old, you do become very attached. So I think that's my biggest mistake. I'm learning now, how to draw that line, uh, and just trying to help them grow and develop, but trying not to become so attached and so involved with the children. The next question is in regards to professional development, and some of the best professional development courses that I have been involved in are ones that are interactive. One particular one is the Color Me Healthy curriculum, where we learned about how to teach, how to introduce children to the importance of eating healthy fruits and vegetables, and at the same time, the importance of exercise and movement and dance. That was uh, one of the most interesting professional development trainings I've had. Also, I enjoy attending the culinary school at Central Piedmont, where we cook and learn different recipes introduced to us to help kids maintain a nutritional diet, and teaching us how to prepare meals that are well balanced and eliminating processed foods. So I enjoy interactive professional development courses. My worst professional development course is, I would say, CPR. I have to take CPR every single year. Um, and I get tired of taking CPR, but I understand, the importance of being abreast on how to perform CPR. Another training is boring to me because it's very repetitive is the SIDS training that I'm required to take every 3 years, sudden infant death syndrome certification. I understand, but it's very repetitive information. Um, and sometimes I feel like they could extend the training out a little bit more besides the 3 year window, maybe 5. But again, I understand things change, situations change, and at the end of the day, it's for in the best interest of keeping the kids safe with documentation, the infants, and providing them the high quality care that they need. What professional development moves you to action, and what professional development lets the air out of your tires? And again, for me, it's interactive professional development courses where you're able to get up, move around, um, meet other professionals, early childhood professionals and teachers, engage in conversation, and not just the trainings that require you to just sit there and listen for hours, um, and not be able to engage in conversation. So to me, I love the interactive professional development courses, and I wish they would make more trainings interactive. In regards to homework, what do I think? Because I do have two school-age children, um, one in high school and one in elementary school, I think homework is important. I think kids do need to have homework. However, I do feel like homework time should be limited. My high schooler averages about 2.5 to 3 hours a night of homework. Um, and he has to be at school at 7:15 in the morning. Some nights he's up until 10 and 11 o'clock. And sometimes I feel like he's not getting enough rest because he's up doing homework. So I think, again, homework is good, but it should be limited to 2 hours. Um, I think that's sufficient enough homework after being in school all day. My child that attends elementary school, he generally has about 45 minutes to an hour of homework, which is fine. I'm able to sit down and work with him, my husband and I, one on one, and it's not long and drawn out. So I agree that with the notion of homework. However, I do feel like the time should be limited. I do believe there should be guidelines and boundaries with homework. I think the teachers, especially like with my high schooler, I think the teachers should be engaging in conversation, and maybe they do, collaborating to say, well, the science teacher, well, I'm giving an assignment for homework tonight, so maybe they could collaborate with the math teacher so that they're not having homework in every subject every single night. And I'm not saying that he does. I just think it should be some boundaries with homework. Um, and let me see, as far as what isn't working and why do you think so? I think homework works. I think it helps to reinforce what the children are learning in school. However, I think kids should be able to come home and rest and relax and wind down and participate in activities if they have extracurricular things going on, and be able to sit down and eat dinner with their family and not have to stay up to 10 and 11 o'clock doing homework when he has to be up at 5:15 to get ready to get on the bus by 6 5:45. Well, I'm sorry, he gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be on the bus stop by 5:45. So I stress to my son the importance of trying to get to bed on time, but that's sometimes it's difficult to do because of the workload that he has of homework. And lastly, what do families know? Um, I believe that families understand that homework is important. I believe that most parents do sit down every night. I hope most parents would sit down every night if they and work with their kids on homework. If they're not able to sit down with them, at least check their homework to make sure that they're understanding and comprehending what they're learning in school. And lastly, uh, in regards to that question, for those in the BK space, what equivalent of homework and family engagement tends to be a hot button for me? In my program, we participate in the Raising the Reader program. Kids go home every week with a different bag of books. This is to help with bonding and teaching early literacy skills. This is a very great program. My kids love it. My parents love it. They look forward to their new bag of books every week. In addition to that, the bag of books, I'm able to provide them with. I do a workshop on early literacy with my parents. I also provide them with literature about the importance of early literacy. So to me, the Raising a Reader or any type of reading program that engages parents, where they're able to sit down one on one with their kids and share books, I think is a great avenue of starting reading skills, early literacy for preschool children. And how might we compromise? Again, in the BK world, and because I am in preschool, I think engaging parents is what works. Sitting down, seeing their kids eager to get their books and talk about them and read with them. They come in sometimes and tell me about the various stories they've read during the week. So I think that's just a great way to help kids that'll be learning to read in kindergarten and exposing them to books, and they're getting to learn and enjoy books. The last questions are the last question is my reaction response to, I guess, vloggers. I enjoyed the vlog. It was very informative. Dr. Lynn, as well as Miss Jean. Two things that struck out in my mind, and again, I enjoyed the whole vlog. Was one, which I say all the time, teachers have to be flexible. This is an industry where I'm in early childhood education. Every day is different. So if you're not flexible, you won't be successful in early childhood education. Secondly, I agree with the high stress level, and we have to find ways to help with uh, releasing our stress because it is hard, it is challenging. It sometimes can become overwhelming with the uh, behaviors and things that go on. A lot of times, what I'm seeing now is children have things going on at home that affects them, and in turn, it affects their behavior. So when I start to see a pattern and a pattern going in the wrong direction, I meet with my parents and I say, okay, what is going on at home? What is changing? Is this child not getting to bed on time? Uh, because it, I can see a change in the behavior. So, and that can cause, one thing that can cause us to have high stress levels. So, just every day is different. The kids come in sometimes different every day. We don't know what to expect from them. So, just having teachers to find a balance and a way to lessen their stress. I thought that was a great point. And the last point that I thought was good was at the end, uh, Dr. Jean was talking about ways to find different avenues where you still stay in education, but you might want to go into being a library coordinator or a changing grades or changing age groups, specializing in one specific age area. So I think that was a great a suggestion for teachers. Don't get stuck in doing one thing. If you move around, change grades and change buildings, maybe even change venues, school districts. So again, I enjoyed the vlog. It was very informative. I also enjoyed the readings, the podcast, um, and I hope the information that I provided provides you all with a greater insight in regards to early childhood education. Have a great night.